Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my video with me, Rosalina Putri Siregar from English Education Study Program with NPM A1B02468. So, in this video, actually, today's topic it's really interesting. I'm gonna explain about descriptive text, spoof text, and also narrative text. So, let's get started and enjoy watching. Okay, so first I will explain about spoof text through an example entitled "The Pawn Was Off." But before we discuss the example text, we need to know first what spoof text is. So everyone, spoof text is a type of text that tells a story with a funny and unexpected ending. Its purpose is to entertain the readers with a humor twist. Spoof text has three generic structures, such as orientation, events, and twists. It also uses language features such as connectives, adverbial phrases, and simple past tense. Alright, now let's move to the example of text entitled "The Pawn Was Off." You can read the text here. Alright, this text tells about a man named Dave who pretended to answer an important phone call because he thought someone was his first customer. However, the ending becomes funny because the man actually came to connect the telephone line. Now, I will explain the mind map of this text. The title of the text is "The Pawn Was Off." The genre, of course, spoof text because it has a funny and unexpected ending. So, the social function or purpose of this text is to entertain the readers through a humorous story. The communicative language used in this text is humorous, entertaining, and simple. Okay, next let's talk about the generic structure. The first part is orientation. The story introduced Dave, the telephone company worker, and Dave's new office. And the second part is events. Dave pretends to answer an important phone call because he wants to look busy and successful. And the last part is twist. The man said that he came from the telephone company to connect the telephone. And this is the funniest part because the phone was not connected yet. This text also has some language features. For connectives, the text uses words like soon, after, and then. For adverbial phrases, there are phrases like in his office and from New York. And for simple past tense, the text uses verbs such as found, bought, move, and pretend. Actually, in my opinion, this text is funny and interesting because the ending is unexpected. Besides entertaining the readers, the story also teaches us not to pretend too much just to impress other people. Okay, now let's move to the next text. So, the next text is about narrative text. And now I will explain narrative text through an example entitled Titanic the Frog. Narrative text is a type of text that aims to entertain readers through real or imaginary stories. Usually, narrative text has a problem that leads to a solution. Okay, now let's move to the example text entitled Titanic the Frog. You can read the text here. Alright, this story tells about a giant frog named Teralik who drank all the water in Billabong. The other animals tried to make him laugh so the water could return again. And finally, the snake succeeds in making Teralik laugh and the water come back to the Billabong. Okay, next session I will explain the mind map of this text. The title of the text is Teralik the Frog. The genre of this text is narrative because it tells an imaginative story with a problem and solution. The social function or purpose of this text is to entertain the readers through an imaginary story. The communicative language used in this text is to entertaining, imaginative, and descriptive. Next, let's talk about the generic structure. So, the first part about generic structure is orientation. So, the story introduces Tiralik and the other animals. The story happens once upon a time in dream time at the Billabong. And the second part is complication. Tita Lake drank all the water and the other animals become thirsty. They tried many ways to make him laugh. And this part is resolution. The snake finally made Tita Lake laugh and the water returned to their beloved. This text also has some language features. For noun phrases, the text uses phrases like the largest frog. For adverbial phrases, there are phrases like once upon a time and one very warm morning. For simple past tense, the text uses verbs such as drown, love, and watch. The action verbs include drink, dance, and laugh. And for adjective phrases, the text uses phrases like very thirsty and very sad. Alright, everyone, so for me, in my opinion, this story is very interesting and entertaining, same like spook text, because the animals work together to solve the problem. I also like and I also like this story because it teaches us not to be selfish and to care about others. Alright, now let's move to the last text. It's about descriptive text. Alright everyone, so let's talk about the last text. It's about descriptive text. And I will explain descriptive text through an example entitled Koala. It's about koala. So, descriptive text is a type of text that describes a particular person, place, or thing. It has two generic structures, such as identification and description. Descriptive text also uses language features, such as specific participants and simple present tense. Okay, so let's move to the example text entitled koala. You can read the text here. Alright, this text describes a koala, an animal from Australia. The text explains its appearance, characteristic, and habits. Now, I will explain the mind map of this text. Title of the text is koala, and the genre, of course, is descriptive text because it describes a particular animal. The social function or purpose of the text is to describe the koala's appearance and characteristic. The communicative language used in this text is informative, descriptive, and simple. Next, let's talk about the generic structure. The first part is identification. The text introduces the koala and explains where it lives. And the second part is description. The text explains the koala's appearance and habits, such as its thick gray fur, fluffy ears, and sleeping habits. This text also has some language features, and the text focuses on the koala as the specific participant. For classifiers in nominal groups, there are phrases like thick gray fur and large black nose. And for simple present tense, the text uses verbs such as lives, has, sleeps, and moves. And in my opinion, this text is also interesting because it gives a clear information about something about koalas in a simple and easy way. Alright, everyone, I think that's all for today's material, and I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening, and if there are any mispronunciation of words, please forgive. Thank you so much.